Alors avant toute chose, ça fait très longtemps, je vais... Oh, je peux améliorer, j'ai un niveau en plus, attends. Que je mets. Ou alors... Non, attends. Calme-toi, calme-toi. Ou alors là, je déverrouille un nouveau truc. Ouais, hein. J'aime bien clair-obscur. Allez, là. C'est accepté. Bon. Nous sommes le mardi. Très bien. Qu'est-ce qu'on avait comme quête? Trouver de l'argent. On va les refaire dans l'ordre comme ça. Putain, mais j'ai une carte. Mais ça, c'est tous les trucs que je peux relancer. Ils sont légendaires. D'accord, d'accord. Alors, démontrez votre autorité avec Tidus. Ah, déjà complexe. Hein. Trouvez votre oiseau. Ah, d'accord. Ouais. Vous avez la clé. Attends, mais c'est derrière la serre. Attends, je fais déjà ça. Et après, j'essaie d'aller derrière la serre. Parce qu'ils disent derrière la serre, il y a un truc. Bon, je sais pas.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced.
Sûr.
Someone here really values their security.
Oui.
Number
Pour mon
20.
café.
This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
Je frappe.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening.
Scrute les alentours inspirant l'air frais.
Tonight, after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good?
Revenir le soir, c'est ça que t'es en train de me dire? C'est parfait, ce soir 20...
Right. We don't
Merde.
have to be here 9 p.m. sharp. I just need to write something tonight, right here.
Ce
Apartment
soir, appartement 28. Très bien. Mais trompé. Allez. Parce qu'il y avait l'autre femme à l'étage, on peut aller choper l'autre femme. Elle était un peu... condescendante avec nous, là. Oh merde, elle est toujours là. Nanana. Esprit de corps plus frisson. Non. Plus d'esprit de corps, plus de frisson, si. Moins de clair-obscur, plus de suggestion. Ah non. Regarde, putain, mais ce style, quoi. Il manque juste... Ça m'emmerde, hein. Il me manque juste... un pantalon. J'aimerais un pantalon, quoi. Et mon petit Kim. Attends, mon petit Kim, j'ai vu que je pouvais refaire un
Yes?
3%.
You pick over what's left of your frontal cortex.
Parfait. 3%, ça valait le coup d'essayer. Je me suis encore trompé de porte. C'est quand même assez... technique. C'est là la porte? Non, parce qu'il me dit la clé est derrière la serre. En fait, c'est la porte de Kuno.
This must be it. The basement
Non, c'est une autre.
is weather worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head.
Colle mon oreille à la porte pour voir déjà s'il y a quelqu'un.
With rain, you don't hear any movement inside.
Ok.
In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. No birds.
Et encore, arrêtez de m'appeler là. Il m'appelle. 2 secondes. Emma. Ouais, je vérifie. Il m'a appelé. J'en ai ructe. Alors, selon les messages. Voilà, qui vient de m'appeler? Voilà. Vraiment très important, tout le monde a envie de savoir. Qui m'a appelé? Le numéro vous a appelé, ajoutez un avis. Alors, on a SFR, publicité, appel frauduleux, SFR, publicité et un enculé qui ne laisse même pas de message. J'ai envie de croire cette personne. Je ne fais que citer. J'utilise la clé de Maniana.
Silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt. Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head. The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Hopefully no one heard.
Non, tranquille. Il flotte bien là.
There's nothing else to do than to leave and tell Everard. No conceivable reason for you to
Je vais
intrude.
pas du tout rentrer.
As you hold the open door, you can feel the air moving. A little draft.
Non mais je vais rentrer, hein, t'inquiète. Je vais rentrer, frisson, t'inquiète.
Master investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you?
Donc policier, j'ai le devoir de tout passer au peigne fin, bien sûr.
The world's secrets were made for you. They wait patiently for you to uncover them.
Ouais, je m'en doute pas une seule seconde. C'est une évidence. Allez, je rentre. Nick. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Pardon pour les bruits, putain. Ce bras de micro de mort. Le magnésium. Valise pleine de vêtements. Invité, loge ici. Je prends. Qu'est-ce qu'on a? Un livre intitulé Le monde caché des phasmes est ouvert. Ah! Je sentais presque la chair du soleil rouge sur le drapeau.
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty.
Merci encyclopédie. C'est quoi ce soleil?
There isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle.
Est-ce donc le miracle du soleil septuple?
Atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Lieutenant, l'ancien drapeau du suzerain.
The
Regarde la
tenant
porte.
is an old-fashioned guy.
M'incline.
Lieutenant does not bow to the flag. It accepts your salute with quiet dignity.
Tiens, mec. Oui, qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
There you like the hard stuff, Brota.
Je sais pas à quoi joue mon gros intestin.
Intestine. The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
Non, mais c'est quoi la méthode forte?
Fascism, Brota.
Oh, le fascisme en vrai.
Things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems?
Les académiciens de gauche, bien évidemment.
Them. Women.
Home?
Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs
Oh la vache.
this world.
Et non.
That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that
Très bien l'estomac, j'ai fait mon choix par rapport au fascisme. Passez au jugement.
keep your views right.
Certainement pas.
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines.
De droite, oui, mais pas facho.
Liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
Chemise.
A row
Et
of
blond.
books
Ah oui, d'accord.
sit on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others. A
Péter les
little
tasses.
room. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down with a look of disdain.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Je dégaine ma tasse de l'homme jaune et je compare.
Your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same mocking line.
Ah ah.
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash, and now they've drawn the ire of the Union. The plot thickens, as they say.
Pensez-vous que c'est la même personne qui a mis les vêtements du mort dans la poubelle?
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from these clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still, a nice coincidence.
La chambre sans désinfectant, l'odeur ressemble à celle de produits chimiques. Ok. Bon, on va aller revoir le patron pour lui dire qu'on a ouvert la porte. Hein. On est surtout pas rentré. Hein. Très important. Ouais, tu vas être mon ami ou pas? Sois mon ami là. En prie, sois mon pote. D'accord. T'essayes de me buter par derrière? Ok, ouais. C'est bien, ouais.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah.
3%.
Whilst we stop to
Non mais j'essayais comme ça, Kim, t'inquiète. Faut pas faire attention à moi. Pose pas de questions, t'inquiète. Boui 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 boui. Boui boui boui. Bon attends, qu'est-ce que je dois faire de ma vie là? Appartement c'est fait. On va aller dire et voir ce que ça a été déverrouillé. Je dois trouver le okay. Trouver du speed et le sniffer, très important. Trouver de l'alcool et le boire. Comme ça j'ai. On va le faire tout de suite. Mystère du trafic. Découvrez qui est la conductrice et où se trouve son camion. On fera ça après. Qui d'autre a un accès non autorisé à la benne à ordures du Welling? Trouver cette personne. Ça prendra peut-être un peu de temps, tu m'étonnes. Ça j'ai pas. Ça j'ai pas. C'est vrai que ça j'ai pas demandé. J'ai appelé pour signaler le crime, je veux pas trouver qui encore. Voir un moyen de pénétrer dans le passage secret. Chanter au karaoké, très important, très très important. Ça j'ai pas. Ça j'ai pas. Et acheter Kuno. Kuno. Ça on fera ça après. Je vais déjà aller voir le chef. Et après on va essayer de retrouver qui deal de la drogue. Parmi les camionneurs. Tâche camionneuse. Mais Kuno. Vends-moi un pantalon, j'en ai pas. J'aimerais un pantalon. T'en prie. J'ai plein d'argent en fait. Wesh Kuno. D'accord. Je suis triste. Attends, ça je pouvais faire un truc je crois. Oui. Allez. Et allez là. Et... Ma gueule. Ok, ils sont de ma gueule. Ah, j'avais loupé ça. Alors 92%. Si quand même. Hyper de bottes. Ok. Je vais les examiner une par une.
Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46. Just like Titus was wearing in his booth. This is the big dick. Titus Hardy. The one with the ball cap on his head.
Le connard donc. Intéressant.
They didn't even bother to change boots. Putting them on the scene is easy too. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. Either the blonde muscular guy, Glenn, or the young guy with a plectrum around his neck.
Ah, je vois tout à fait, oui.
3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. The inked banger, perhaps. 4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46. Theo, The old smoker.
Ils étaient tous là, quoi. C'est
Fleck of
c'est
cigarette.
ça le secret de l'histoire. Quoi d'autre?
5. Another standard work boot. Reinforced toes. Number 44. Same as before. Either the musician, Eugene, or the muscle-bound blonde, Glenn. 6. Light as air. Same make of boot. But number 41. Small like a rat. Shanky. Better
As-tu pigé ça plus tôt?
than a detective. The whole world is dark and the tracks burn in it with strange beauty. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. The imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds.
Vous entendez l'enfant qui crie dehors? Ah, mais enfant qui dit
Carrying
joue avec mon caca! Et que son père il dit non mais ne joue pas avec ton caca. S'il te plaît, arrête de jouer avec ton caca.
8.
Et la dernière?
Another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole. The right sole is smoother, more worn. Curious. A missing 8th Hardy Boy.
7 sets of tracks, right? The Hardy Boys were here.
8 pour être exact.
That's all? Interesting. Then one of them seems to be missing. Anything else out of the ordinary?
Une aberration.
Let's name it the odd soul.
Drôle de semelle.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was the missing Hardy Boy.
T'as des idées?
One operating a workbench with a pedal, like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer?
Un batteur?
No, it's not. Forget I said it. We are not looking for a drummer.
Ok.
Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out their right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
Je me disais exactement la même chose.
Seem to hear you, looking south toward the traffic jam instead. The machines are silent. The engines are all turned off.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect.
Oui, très sage. Il y a un pas léger, pointure 41.
That's the skinny Hardy Boy. The one with his front teeth missing.
Le type a la gueule de rat?
Well, he did look a bit like a rat. You're right. Do you think those prints belong to him? I
Oui.
could still be wrong, but I'm probably...
Ah merde. Ah non.
I'm guessing that's the skinny...
Probablement pas.
Maybe I'm right. 200.
Oui, je sais c'est qui.
This could be the combined weight of two people, one carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built armored man. Maybe it was a fat Hardy Boy, the one
Oui.
sitting in the middle.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
T'as raison, c'est le grelard de la loge qui portait la victime.
Yes. This would also fit with the victim being dead from a previous gunshot wound. They had to carry him because he could no longer walk.
Okay.
Is there anything else that's noteworthy here?
Vous pensez que ces empreintes remontent à quand, mon petit Kim?
7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
Comment vous savez ça?
Last week's forecast for coastal Havashol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
Et je vais faire l'ingénu. Il s'est passé quoi à votre avis ici?
I think a mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed, they all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
But we know the victim had a bullet in his head. A more precise way to put it is, it was made to look like a lynching.
On nous aurait volontairement berné.
By these tracks? Yes.
On a tout passé en revue, c'est partir. Du coup, c'est bien, je peux leur mettre dans la gueule ça aussi. Est-ce que je vais les voir tout de suite ou pas? Il est 15h43, j'ai le temps d'aller faire un aller-retour, je pense. Je le fais maintenant. Ah, tant que je suis là, je vais le faire maintenant. Alors?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Juste ne semble pas particulièrement ravi de vous voir. 3%, faire preuve d'autorité. Yes. Ah, j'ai découvert 8 paires d'empreintes de pas. Vous avez dit... Vous n'êtes que 7. Où est le 8ème hardy?
What are you talking about, madman? There's no eighth Hardy Boy. There's 7 of us and we're all here.
Il vous juge.
Or
Vous juge, pardon.
you want to be the eighth Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
La tête.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
Boulos.
So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl. Who might it be? Elizabeth? The gardener?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn!
Hurle-t-il?
Now what the fuck do you want?
Bah je veux des réponses maintenant, mon brave.
Secret. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. End.
Disney Kim.
You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm watching you.
I'm watching you.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks.
Que 3%. J'aimerais à nouveau parler de la pendaison. Ouais, ouais. Non, bah plus d'autres questions. Putain, diabolique. Je pensais que... Bon, ça a pas été... Ça a pas été plus concluant que ça. Ça a pas augmenté mon pourcentage. Vous êtes la nana de la bande à Hardy? Ça tortelle dans ton sac.
You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went to law school. I am an attorney.
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Débutante International.
Le d'où, Glenn? Elle a étudié le droit.
Fucking what? Lots of models are actually really smart people, fuckwad.
No, Glenn, they aren't.
Son ton est glacial et détaché.
It's not her. She's not a Hardy girl.
Non mais je sais c'est qui, mais est-ce que... Enfin, est-ce que je peux y aller? Pas sûr. Pas sûr que je puisse y aller maintenant.
The door is closed. Still, no. The lieutenant gives. You should punch a fucking hole in it. The murmur.
Non, je vais pas l'insulter comme ça, c'est dommage. Bon, on va supposer que je peux pas encore y aller. Ah. La porte est fermée pour l'hiver.
The man ponders his.
Ça c'est bon. Cette musique est vraiment chouette.
You see a heavy steel.
Ça aussi je l'ai fait. Pas de solution. Oui, oui, oui. Bon, on va aller reparler à Everett là. J'ai toujours pas de pantalon. Ça c'est vraiment la quête d'une vie. Hein. Faut que je trouve un fut. Vraiment que je trouve un futal. Hein. Attends. Toi là. Voilà.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man.
3%. Ok, salut. À bientôt. J'ai lu 3%. Toi là.
Looking for something?
Faire cacher le morceau, 97%. Là c'est bon, non?
Men like
Merci.
this only respect two things.
Montrez-moi où se trouve son putain de camion et indiquez-moi le camion de la conductrice. Où est-il?
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not gonna...
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Putain, je vais te baiser pour l'éternité, pigé.
Homo cop?
Et une goutte de sueur perle sur son sourcil.
Human? It's some lorry down there. Green banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she...
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days.
Où se trouve son camion exactement?
Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple.
En fait, c'est la jardinière, non?
By the monument. Green. Let's
Elle
get...
se tourne vers vous. Pourquoi vous êtes pris la gueule?
It's about biological determinism.
Oh là là, non, non, je veux pas. Je m'en fous.
Popular topic nowadays with a correlation in
Change the topic. The
Eh, salut Toby.
makes it almost sound like a
Bonsoir, bonjour même. Alors, quelle heure tu te lèves aujourd'hui? 14h46? Pas mal.
not sheep, ostriches.
Ah, tu vas pouvoir. Bon, tu tombes sur le pire perso, mais tu vas pouvoir juger du cast vocal. La traduction française, justement. Je me suis levé à 11h. Ah bah ça va.
whatever. Go back to
Whatever.
your class, Bino.
Vous êtes juste raciste, quoi. C'est aussi simple que ça.
People
Non, je me suis trompé.
things say that you
J'ai
are superior by design. So
bar design, j'ai mis ce clic.
we Occidentals should be in charge. Obviously, you can see the merits in that.
Attends, j'ai pas lu, putain. Non, 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 on peut parler d'autre chose? Oui, voilà. Oui, non, je suis pas d'accord avec cette merde, tu peux te faire foutre.
Push your luck.
C'est bien ça. Voilà. Espèce de merde. Bon. Taco vert. Le taco vert. En fait... Mais en fait, j'ai toujours pas de... Toby, j'ai deux problèmes. Premier problème, c'est qu'il faut que je trouve... C'est qui deal. Et le deuxième problème, c'est que j'ai toujours pas de pantalon. Et ça, c'est dramatique. Mais le voilà.
This screen found A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins, looming.
Et je ne trouve pas de pantalon.
It's seen better days.
This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying.
Le temps, jette un œil à l'intérieur. Et de jeter un œil à l'intérieur.
On the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of the
Alors là, la priorité, c'est boire du vin, prendre de la drogue, trouver un pantalon, et surtout trouver une cassette pour pouvoir faire un karaoké au bar. Et après, on voit pour l'enquête. C'est dans mes quêtes, hein. Elles sont là. Tu vas trouver de l'alcool et le boire. Y a des trucs, quoi. Chanter au karaoké. Récupérer une chanson triste sur bande, mais j'ai pas. J'arrive pas à trouver. Et pour l'instant, donc, je suis un flic superstar, ultra libéral, bien sûr, hein. Et justicier truand. Voilà. Très content de ce personnage. Truculent.
Posters cover the small windows in the back. You can't make out what's on them.
Bon, essayons de l'ouvrir,
The door is locked.
bien sûr.
The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. There's no pick in this lock. The owner has put special care into it.
D'accord.
It's a recessed design.
Comment est-ce qu'on pourrait l'ouvrir, Kim?
The pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside.
Bonne idée.
I don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't have...
Bonne idée, Kim. J'adore casser des trucs. Pied de biche. Let's go. Moi, du pied de biche, là.
This screen found
28% seulement.
is parked.
Use the pry bar to smash...
Vraiment?
I don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't afford it to take any longer.
Ouais, je tente, allez.
With a firm
Ah, c'est passé.
raise the pry.
Je n'y ai pas cru.
A glint of light catching on the tip.
Jamais compris le terme libéral. Ah, de part sur de droite, la finance. C'est vraiment très... C'est grâce au pognon qu'on est là, grâce aux banques, choses comme ça. Enfin, moi, c'est ce que je comprends. Je suis pas un professionnel non plus, tu vois. Et, j'avais décidé que là, mon petit personnage allait être un super flic de droite. Pour l'instant, c'est bon. Il est bon. Mais par contre, pas raciste, pas... Ça va. Et un peu... Et qui se la joue beaucoup trop, tu vois. Pour l'instant, on est dans les clous. Alors. Mais... Nique la police! J'ai toujours rêvé de faire ça.
Everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement.
Incroyable personnage. Subtil. Lance le lieutenant tout en glissant la main à l'intérieur comme un vulgaire voleur de voiture.
Cigarettes and paper.
Pardon, Kim.
The cabin inside is plastered
Excuse-nous, Kim.
posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front. and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be.
Ok, j'enlève la housse. Et voilà.
Neatly folded papers has been stashed behind the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revachol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen.
Ok.
Bonne prise.
Bonne prise. Merci Kim. Lance le lieutenant, tandis que vous examinez en détail les cartes usées et pliées soigneusement en carré. Ouvrez la carte du haut.
This large map displays the elevated motorway called 881.
Mhm.
The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South.
Fort bien, oui.
At the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all.
Ok.
Hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 881, high above the mass of brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield.
Je suis content parce que ça, dans ma première partie, je l'ai pas fait. Où mène la route?
Through the middle-income neighborhoods there, by the river, and then
By the river?
Paris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road.
Ouvrir la deuxième
The
carte.
municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the Pox, old military hospital, right adjacent to the 41st precinct.
Ok.
Wind rips through the empty hallways of the once great military hospital, now just a ruin under an overgrown park. Beneath the hospital, great sewer tunnels hum and vibrate with life of their own.
Qu'est-ce donc que ce bruit?
Of motor carriages and lorries driving through long forgotten tunnels, lit by gaslights.
D'accord. Troisième carte.
Final map displays a
Final
labyrinth
map.
of service tunnels left over from the construction of motorway 881. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain, and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation beneath the motorway.
Qu'est-ce que tout ça veut dire?
Smugglers are secretly using the motorway to transport their goods and materials. They've infiltrated East Motor Tract, most likely. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them.
Le MCR, on rappelle, c'est l'espèce de police dans le coin, quoi. C'est dans la distribution.
This distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the Besmerti behind it.
Ah, Besmerti? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
The Besmerti is a Revacholian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacholian Indo-tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control on the west side of Revachol.
Okay.
With cool names, like La Puta Madre and...
La puta madre.
It's a dark parody.
Ok. Et qui est aux commandes de ce réseau, d'après vous?
Definitely not the Union. They just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere and...
Pour moi, c'est la jardinière, alors.
It's that
Ça me paraît bizarre, parce qu'elle est d'ici.
Madre remains the most likely suspect. Here's bad news. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved.
Especially bad news for cops who may have something in their past they don't even know is there.
Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick this up later.
Ok. Merci, Kim.
The stack of maps looks just like before.
Euh...
Noticeable. The movie stars look silent
Okay.
by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle, worn
On va tirer la boîte à outils rétractable.
A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty. It's
Va voir.
an issue of Petty Ferric from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It
Oh.
looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the ELYSIUM frequency system.
Attends, mais c'est pas le code que j'ai besoin pour la machine, là?
These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The ELYSIUM frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
Ah non, mais pourtant, je l'ai vu. Ah, on l'a, le truc.
Slice back into its
Bizarre.
The rest is
Il me semblait que c'était le truc qu'il y avait dans la... Dans l'espèce de lieu où ils ont fait le jeu vidéo, là. Éliminer les pédales.
wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a
Il y a
better
un truc.
Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Quel est l'intérêt de coller un bout de papier de fer à l'accélérateur?
A novel technique must be to offer some extra grip to the driver's foot.
Le papier de verre a fait disparaître le dessin sous la semelle de la botte droite du conducteur.
Yes.
Et apprécie la tournure des événements. L'une des empreintes de la scène de crime présentait une anomalie. L'une des semelles était plus lisse que l'autre.
Means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching.
Et du lieutenant brille derrière ses lunettes. Elle dirige aussi le trafic de drogue. Elle nous donne du fil à retordre, celle-là.
I know for certain who's the missing eighth person.
Ah ah!
Do you think that Hardy and his boys could also be involved in a drug operation?
Pas forcément, la conductrice aurait pu mener son trafic de drogue dans le plus grand secret.
But we should still go and see what Titus has got to say.
Je suis un trop bon flic, je suis un trop bon flic!
We finish with the lorry.
Écrit dans son petit calepin.
The movie stars are still smiling.
Bon, j'examine la radio.
The frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here.
Bonne centaine, on va tous les faire.
An advanced model to fit so many frequencies next to each other without blending them together.
Y a-t-il autre chose qu'on puisse faire avec cette radio?
Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable
It.
with the dial key.
Feed radio, c'est enregistré?
It's on 78.9.
Il s'interrompt en toussant dans son poing.
Well, I happen to have committed the frequency to memory.
Bien sûr.
No problem admitting that.
C'est mon petit Kim. À quoi ça sert d'enregistrer autant de stations?
An entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range too.
A 20-kilometer radius at least.
Hmm.
Perhaps extended by an attachable antenna. That's the ghostly actresses and the rust.
Les posters, je pense qu'on s'en fout un peu, je les passe un peu vite.
There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette.
Ok, on va...
Elements of a sweet juniper-scented perfume.
Grenate number 5.
Grenate number 5.
T'as vu le pin-up?
is draped in
La
a
pin-up?
youth dress, one of her shoulders bared. The fate of the actresses.
Je ferme.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce? Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and
Ok.
what we found.
On va voir ce qu'on fait. J'ai toujours pas été voir le chef. Il va falloir que je retourne voir les affreux Jojo pour voir justement s'il n'y a pas le 8ème hardi qui trempe dans le truc. Bordel. On dirait que c'est un travail pour la police, que pensez-vous, Kim?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what the ELYSIUM frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station.
Oui.
A worrying prospect.
Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for.
The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite the find.
Donc il s'avère que c'est lié au syndicat.
Told us yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra ammunition.
Moi ça me va, hein.
Meaning, someone as slippery as Everard won't be caught by a couple of cops and some stuff they found in some cabin.
On va avoir une enquête à ce sujet.
The murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station.
Ok. Donc là, est-ce que je vais voir d'abord Everard? Non. Je vais d'abord voir Joyce.
There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. Sometime later, when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that.
Qu'en pensez-vous?
One hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome.
On sait que c'est signe de corruption?
Same. I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Ok.
Brief over. After you.
Bon bah Joyce, les affreux Jojo et retour à... voir le chef là-bas. Bonjour, vous avez une minute? C'est bon, c'est déjà parlé, arrête tes conneries. Et j'ai toujours pas de pantalon. Bordel. Viens, elle est en haut là. Madame.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
J'ai parlé avec les routiers au rond-point.
My eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Attendez, où se trouvent exactement ses yeux?
Doesn't really matter. And I do apologise for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
Okay.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Of course, detectives.
Of course.
In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest.
Merci madame.
Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
C'est quoi ces histoires de bain de sang?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Ok.
Thanks for sharing, man. This is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
J'ai déjà entendu parler d'un lien entre le lynchage et la grève, mais j'ai besoin de votre témoignage.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Vous avez un détachement de sécurité?
Maybe not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to...
Du coup, globalement, j'enquête sur quoi? Alors en fait, le pitch, vraiment le pitch de base du jeu, c'est que tu te réveilles suite à on va dire une grosse soirée en tant que flic déprimé. Tu te souviens plus de qui tu es, tu te souviens plus de ce que t'enquêtes, tu te souviens plus de rien. Tout ce que tu sais, c'est que t'es en slip, t'as perdu ton insigne, t'as perdu ton flingue, tu sais pas où est ta caisse, et ça fait une semaine qu'il y a un mec pendu derrière un jardin, enfin derrière un bar hôtel, dans un jardin, et t'enquêtes là-dessus. Théorie. T'as plus tes notes aussi d'enquête. Ça c'est le truc de base. Et après il y a pas mal de choses qui se rajoutent.
Who are they, exactly?
Grenate, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years.
Après, je peux rentrer plus dans les détails si tu veux, mais c'était pour pas trop en dire.
Dresser disorder and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him.
Ce qu'il faut savoir aussi, c'est que c'est un moment où dans le bled, il y a une grosse grève.
Out behind the whirling in rags.
Des travailleurs qui sont dans un espèce de... Je sais même pas trop sûr dans quoi ils travaillent en vrai. Je sais pas ce que disent les gens, tu te spoil pas. Ah du coup ouais, mais bon, c'est pas très intéressant de... Bon attends, t'as un fond quoi, t'as un fond sonore.
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Grenate contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation
Là, on a eu
is
quand même quelques infos
executions will
sur
follow.
le monsieur, sur le pendu.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
It'll be all of them. The decision is already made.
Faut admettre que c'était pas très disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
Elle s'accroche à la grande voile.
don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast. They will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men.
Les débardeurs.
1,000 to 1.
Aïe.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. Men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
As
Okay.
I've said, a bloodbath.
Maybe a good bloodletting is just what Martinez needs.
Un scénario assez sinistre ce que vous décrivez.
Bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
À ce moment-là, ouais. Vous avez dit que le défunt avait agressé une femme.
He didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers.
Oh putain, Kuno?
Now, I cannot testify by it.
Que vous ont dit ces adolescents au bord du canal?
Man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place?
En même temps, personne ne fait confiance aux flics.
Last Sunday
Donc
night,
Kim.
at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Qui était cette femme?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
Et ce colonel-là, qui fait pendre, vous le connaissiez?
You mean, did I see him alive? Yes, but I did not know him.
S'appelait?
Lely,
Lily.
his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Parlez-moi d'abord des autres.
One is a man, Courty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Courty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face.
I can't remember.
Merde.
That's
Point de
all.
regret dans sa voix.
Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40 or 50.
Hmm.
It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed, this matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Où se trouvent les 2 mercenaires restants?
Around, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes, ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
You should show those meatheads exactly how savage you really are.
Je dois découvrir où il se cache.
I'll need to run into them eventually. When that happens,
Putain, je peux avoir.
I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Il ne peut pas être tenté. 72%, ça se tente quand même.
One is obvious.
Yes.
Scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building.
72%, 100%. Ce que je me dis, mais des fois ça passe pas. Hein.
Even tabs on you. Why?
Moi, les lancers de dés, jamais de chance. C'est ça que le plus souvent, quand je fais des jeux de rôle, je suis MJ. Ça m'arrange. L'un doit être le gros bras avec des vêtements de travail qui lui vont pas après des portes du port, le chef des Roufions.
So, I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
Ouais, si, je vais y aller.
Look of averting this catastrophe. The situation at the gate.
Plein de choses à faire, j'ai plein de choses à faire, c'est bien.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant, but my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
Ouh, Toby, là, tu lances un... Oh, oh, oh. Alors, ça dépend, qu'est-ce que... Alors, Toby me dit... Apparemment, tu regardes des séries. Oui, un petit peu beaucoup. Des choses à te conseiller. Tu sais plus quoi regarder. Bah écoute, ça dépend, qu'est-ce que t'as bien aimé ces temps-ci? Qu'est-ce que tu voudrais regarder? Quels sont tes moyens d'acquisition de séries, bien sûr. Et aiguille-moi déjà sur toi, qu'est-ce que tu cherches? Sinon oui, on peut parler série avec plaisir. Un autre se trouve probablement dans un bâtiment qui donne sur le rond-point.
To afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Série très autour de leur personnage, tu veux dire le personnage de héros ou...
There's a short wave at the ship's wheel.
Pour moi les séries c'est des choses qui tournent autour de personnages de toute façon, c'est des choses qui... Ça. Une autre question pour vous.
I can answer it better.
Combien de temps avons-nous?
The executions start. Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Tu veux plus de la comédie ou pas? Ou drame? Enfin je dis drame, attention, hein. Les grosses guillemets. Hein. Il y a un bref silence, les mouettes braillent au-dessus. Ah.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
Très bien, c'est tout pour le moment.
I've been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help.
Peut-être vous pouvez me parler de ces tatouages.
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
Prends la main par-dessus le câble et de la rambarde et prends la photo qu'elle tient dans sa main.
For about half a minute, in silence.
Pas clair, c'est vrai. Non bah écoute, ça dépend ce que tu cherches. Est-ce que tu veux un truc court ou un truc long? Est-ce que tu veux un truc de... Voilà, est-ce que tu... Alors, moi je te pose des questions et tu me dis. Est-ce que tu veux une série avec peu de saisons ou beaucoup de saisons? Est-ce que tu veux une série au format court ou au format long? Est-ce que tu veux un truc plutôt rigolo, dramatique, ou les deux? Et est-ce que tu veux un truc plutôt de niche? Ah non, j'ai pas envie de dire de niche ou connu, mais... Ou un truc en cours ou un truc terminé, c'est bien ça aussi. Mystère, les trucs pas trop terre à terre, un peu à la dark. Hmm. Là j'aurais un truc, mais c'est un peu teenage. Mais mystère, là comme ça, il me faudrait ma liste.
She wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like those of a working woman.
Ok, teenage buff.
With a trigette not long ago.
Long format avec du mystère.
No more markings on his hands.
Et vraiment mystère ou mystère. Enfin, genre tout tourne autour du mystère ou vraiment il y a eu un truc étrange qui s'est passé et de là se découlent les choses. Il n'y a pas forcément une enquête entre guillemets dessus ou une résolution de ce dit mystère.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Pensez-vous?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
En vrai, ce que je te dirais, c'est... Là, les trucs... Enfin, les séries qui me viennent en tête, mais c'est aussi parce que je les regarde en ce moment, il y a Yellow Jacket, mais c'est teenage. Il y a The Leftovers, t'as pas vu, qui est assez particulier, mais qui est plutôt bien. Où, justement, il y a un mystère... Attends, je te les refais tous. T'as Yellow Jacket, où en gros, c'est un peu teenage, mais il y a un mystère qui se passe sur deux temporalités, mais c'est pas vraiment mystérieux, c'est... En fait, toute la question du truc, c'est qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Et surtout, est-ce que c'est mystique ou est-ce que c'est des événements explicables? L'autre série, Leftovers, je sais pas si tu vois, mais c'est une série qui parle de... qui était sur HBO en 3 saisons. Et en gros, il y a 2% ou 3% de la population qui a disparu, mais en un claquement de doigts, comme ça. Et on voit comment les gens survivent par rapport à ça. Et j'avais... Non, j'en avais un dernier. Mais là, c'est très... c'est concept. J'aime beaucoup. C'est Dispatch from Elsewhere. La série de Jason Segel. C'est le monsieur qui faisait... How I Met Your Mother, je sais plus. Et qui a fait une série sur un film documentaire qui racontait comment a été organisé un énorme jeu de pistes dans New York. Et là, en fait, tu vois 4 personnages qui vont devoir coopérer ensemble pour aller dans ce jeu de pistes. Et justement, qu'est-ce qui fait partie du jeu, qu'est-ce qui fait pas partie du jeu. Mais c'est un gros truc concept méta. Et la fin peut rester un peu en dehors. Un peu branlos sur 20, quoi. C'est 3 trucs qui me viennent en tête comme ça. Petit aparté série. Mais en vrai, si je regarde dans ma liste, il y a plein de choses. Hein.
Close.
Comme des points sur motif?
This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
Vous pouvez m'en dire plus.
Platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Mon pouc, j'ai besoin d'informations.
You have to do, detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public
On
security.
risque.
But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there
Merci pour votre
anything
aide.
else I can help you with?
Let's go. Je vais aller, tiens. Avant. Moins 1 d'esprit de corps. Pas grave. Ça va s'apprendre. Des choses. Hop. Voilà, il y a beaucoup là. Je préfère être aiguillé. Ah bah pas de soucis. Moi j'aime bien. J'aime bien faire ça. De toute façon par les séries et tout, donc aucun problème. Bon, on va aller voir. Je sais pas si je vais revoir Titus et ses potes là, ou le mec de la grève, ou le chef. Titus et ses potes, ils vont pas bouger jusqu'au soir. Je vais voir le chef. Ah, attendez, il y a un truc là.
Damn, that felt good. Your heart's pounding nicely. You should tell people to
Trop de teasing. Ah, c'est comme le. Trop de teasing, c'est terrible. Bah oui, désolé. Ça se trouve, c'est du teasing dans le vent. C'est comme mon taf, tu vois, c'est du teasing. Mais je vois que t'es de retour, donc ça me fait plaisir. Alors. Im, je crois que je devrais dire aux gens d'aller se faire foutre plus souvent, ça me fait un bien fou.
General rule, but that one was justified. Better to get the lay of the land before telling people to fuck off.
Putain de fils de pute!
the spirit. Never.
T'as gagné de la vie!
The whole world's a wooden house, and you're a goddamn flamethrower.
Super. Bon, on va commencer par. Oh! Elle est là.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam.
Ah non, je l'ai déjà fait, ok. Bon.
Nice aggression with the native. Don't let the chief fool you next time.
Voilà.
Not bad advice, actually. This might do the trick.
Let's talk about our right to work.
Je crois que vous pouvez m'aider à comprendre la signification de ces tatouages. C'était sur votre colonel.
Wordless, he takes the photo and looks at it. Grey eyes dart back of
A-t-il craqué sous la pression? Ça a l'air d'être un grand gaillard quand même. Hein.
his face is unmoving.
J'ai peur de me prendre une patate, la balle perdue.
A stone, but beneath it,
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in.
C'est pas tout à fait foireux, mais ta théorie par rapport à mon taf. Mais pour te dire vrai, j'ai fait des études dans... Enfin, j'ai fait un DUT métier du multimédia de l'internet. Donc c'était de la communication graphique, audiovisuelle et web. Je suis un peu en dessin, ouais. Thank you. Tu peux me dire ce que signifie ce tatouage? Il montre une petite étoile dans le réseau de lignes, loin du cœur de l'homme, presque sur son estomac.
I can tell you what this one means.
Ses yeux tellement les minuscules. Oui.
Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush. In Benital, 41. Monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance mission. He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kipped villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting restless. There's talk of switching employers.
Lèche les lèvres comme s'il était soudainement ivre.
some strange emotion. This is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back.
Je continue. Ne pas l'interrompre.
Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon,
Pourquoi devient étrangement calme? Il est loin. Au travail. Mon regard transperce le papier.
at dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe They were just making eyes at each other. I like to think they were breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old.
C'est weird. C'est weird.
She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted. Expired in the hands of Sarge Mason, the kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch.
En faisant un signe de tête vers l'homme au-dessus des portes.
God. Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body.
Charmant personnage.
Ate them. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits my ass.
Something stirs in your stomach.
Elle n'est pas vraiment le chef des roufouillons, hein.
Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off. But
Vous pouvez la garder.
you've earned it. All right now. Free comers!
On the photo in your eyes, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin.
Bon, vous êtes un mercenaire embauché par Wellpines.
Row of comers!
L'homme crie et s'essuie le visage, de la sueur lui coule du front.
Don't talk to him any longer. Just leave, please.
Y a-t-il un tribunal en train d'être convoqué par hasard? Il expire longuement sans gigantesque torse, ça fait sang dans la bouche ouverte.
A punch
Entrouverte,
is
pardon.
imminent, but it's being cocked hard. You hear a tiny rattle, a small radio, cracking somewhere.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
Dit le lieutenant d'un ton apaisant. Je recommence.
A punch is not. You hear it.
Ah non.
Okay.
D'accord.
Breathing steadies.
Par contre, Magnana, c'est toi l'autre. À vous. À vous, c'est toi, hein.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Cette fille à qui j'ai rendu visite, il s'avère qu'il a une sacrée collection de mugs coloniaux.
The janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
Tu vois le temps qu'on passe à... je veux dire ça.
It'd be really bad if we got into an argument about him. Wasted a good noon. Or afternoon. Or night.
De rien, ma gueule.
Anyway, thanks.
Call me Magnana. Au fait, tu sais quelque chose sur la bande à Hardy?
Hardys? They're an
Sorry.
independent militant group. A bit too high-strung, but it comes with the responsibility. They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that. Except it's Everard's law. But really,
Engorgé de ses
they're just
flasques.
like you.
Très bien. Oui.
Hey,
À moi?
you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building.
La rumeur? Qu'est-ce que c'est ça, hein?
Saying things like down with the bourgeoisie,
C'est faux.
the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have
Jamais dit ça.
not in so many words, but don't deny it. You're about to rip off that mask of social democracy. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism bill?
Trop fatigant, j'ai pas l'étoffe d'un grand architecte.
Very well.
Au bout de ma vie.
Let not anyone, there's no one.
Au revoir le communisme. Voilà. Ça, c'est non. Bon, on va aller voir le chef. On va lui donner ce qu'il faut. On va lui dire qu'on a ouvert la porte. J'ai toujours pas de pantalon. Oula, 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 oula. Calmons-nous, calmons-nous, je vous en prie. Merde, faut aller où? I am paumé. Là-bas. Il est encore là, lui? Et toi, là?
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. and lots of folk really did keep coming back.
Et quelle question
At all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes, wisdom withers if not shared.
Non, parce que je lui ai déjà posé des questions en fait. Qu'est-ce que vous faites avec les conteneurs?
Containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
C'est que 8%.
Sure, mister. About
J'aurais pas, j'ai pas assez de logique. Merde. Bon, toi là. Méchant man.
Mr. Dubois.
Mr. Dubois. Chaque travailleur. Ta gueule.
His fellow man. That's right, Mr. Dubois. You're turning out to be quite the individualist there. So, you had business with me?
J'ai ouvert la porte comme vous me l'avez demandé, on peut parler du meurtre maintenant?
Glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying.
C'est pas prévu que je rentre dans l'appartement, je ne l'ai donc pas fait.
Harry, you only had to unlock the door, which you did. So we're...
He was testing you.
Yes.
You succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why.
Semblant de retrousser ses
Real
manches.
police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
Je peux pas, j'ai dit que j'étais pas rentré. J'ai entendu parler d'un lien entre le lynchage et la grève, j'aurais besoin de votre témoignage.
Now, I'm sure you figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild
Bad
guys.
guys.
Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flat caps.
Je écoute.
This strike is the culmination of many mistakes made by the
Attendez, j'arrive, j'ai un appel.
They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry.
Those Senorita Pineapple people are scary motherfuckers. Decimating your state if you don't give them your pineapples.
Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
An entire neighborhood of killers.
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly. They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them. Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Separate one from the herd.
Oh, that would definitely be Fat Angus. His feet smell from a city block away, and he's always having noisy stomach troubles. Horrible, revolting guy. You would die, Harry. You would die, and in the process start a bloody and completely unnecessary war between the Debarders Union and the Citizens Militia. Angus, his ever-growling stomach, and his smelly feet are all part of the Union. You have as much right to arrest him as I have to arrest your partner here. Actually, less, because this is my hometown, my territory, and my backyard. You are a guest here, Harry. Please remember that. Oh, Harry. This is getting real grim, and there's no need for that. We are friends. But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
The lieutenant watches you pocket the banknote. He looks a little puzzled.
Good boy. A real team player. Now, do you have any more questions? So they shot him.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman. Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
Allô? Pardon, c'était ma maman. Me faire un coucou? Et des coucous. Un patriote.
Just between us, I don't care.
Me faire un café aussi du coup. Et
It's all about power, and here's how we're gonna get it. I need you to be my kingsman, Harry.
And what?
pas sûr, hein.
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Quoi serviront ces signatures?
Asked Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth center in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Qu'arrivera-t-il aux occupants actuels?
We're gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth center designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
It depends.
C'est où, Kim?
I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
Étudier Wart.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
Non, hors de question.
Perfectly acceptable. No one's gonna force you into anything, but I don't know about that gun of yours. You see, I'm a vengeful man, Harry. Part of how I got
Avatar.
is that, well, I can be quite nasty sometimes. But the good news is, the moment you change your mind and want to look into this matter, just tell me, and we'll be buddies again.
The lieutenant's eyes meet yours, and he shrugs.
Autre chose de terminer d'enquêter sur le trafic de drogue locale.
Ah, yes, your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business.
No.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Ouais, ça m'intéressait pas trop de rester bloqué ici.
You're one of us now. A real red and white union.
Ça. Il m'a donné de l'agnole.
Well, hello. Light reflects off the green glass of the Commodore red. The gods have been generous. Better pop it open. Wow. The gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy
Inous.
to open. Fine.
Non! Trompé. Merde, j'ai mis ce clic. J'ai mis comme un débile. Mais... J'ai pas bu. Je suis maudit.
Oh, hey, mister. And no trouble at all, mister. No trouble.
Dramatique.